Hi and welcome to Alive and Cooking, brought to you today from Food I Am. It's a gorgeous little cooking school nestled on a mountaintop overlooking Wagga Wagga. Here at Food I Am, you're bringing the food world into Wagga, aren't you?
Yeah, this is just such a fantastic place to have been able to set Food I Am up. In the first few years, we've only actually had our purpose-built facility for a year.
So Tanya, can you tell me the big picture story about Food I Am?
Probably started in my mum's kitchen when we were growing up. I always say we travelled the globe in mum's kitchen. And then as I got older, we would have great food experiences when we travelled. And having always been a Riverina resident, I just one day thought, why not? Why can't we have these amazing chefs do incredible classes here in the Riverina? We've got all this beautiful produce. We are the food bowl of Australia.
Absolutely.
So one day we just started, and from there it's just grown. So we've pick the best of our regional chefs, and they do classes alongside our national and international chefs that we bring in, our travelling chefs. We also do food tours. We do culinary food tours over to Italy and to Vietnam. So where we can give people a great experience that we believe that they may not get on some of the bigger tours. So they're small group tours.
You've said it's a small garden, but you could probably feed a family of 4 out of what you've got going on here. These crates are magnificent.
Beautiful. We've got a great variety of herbs and Dutch carrots, broad beans coming on. To be able to place those products into the hands of our class participants and introduce them, that's a real pleasure.
It's hard to know where to go, isn't it? You've got so much. Look at that collie! Oh my word!
Didn't even know that was there. Isn't it? That's the surprise of a vegetable garden, isn't it? It's like, wow!
And these crates, mate. There's sage, there's onions.
Chives, we've got the whole lot. And the crates are apple crates from up around Batlow.
Why not? I was sucked in by the rocket flowers.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's that really peppery rocket. Yeah. It's got that. I love this fresh rocket. It's completely different, isn't it, to the stuff that you buy in the supermarket?
You say it's peppery, but it's got that. I'm going to pinch some of this. And apparently someone's going to show us some really special pasta as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I cannot wait to get these here. I'm very excited. I'm here with Milena Pontorero, and she's going to show me some magnificent pasta, and also these lucky girls are going to get to learn how to do it as well. Come on, mate, what do we got?
Okay, so we're going to start. I've got here just some normal plain flour. I'm going to put in here some eggs. I'm using whole eggs. Whatever liquid I put in my pasta doesn't really matter. What's really important in this pasta is the percentage of liquid to flour. So I'm looking for about 60%. So in here I've got whole eggs. If I wanted to make a richer pasta, I could use a mixture of egg yolk and whole eggs, or I could put some water in. It depends what I'm going to do with the pasta a little bit later on. Okay, so I've just mixed it in with a fork a little bit just to get it going. I'm going to mix all the pasta together now. I just really want to squeeze everything in. So with my hands, I'm just trying to get all of that together as much as I can. If you can imagine, when we're kneading, the gluten stretches like an elastic band. So if my pasta's too sticky now, as that gluten relaxes, it'll become really, really sticky later.
If you find it's too sticky, can you add a little bit more flour? Would you?
Definitely. So if it's a little bit sticky, add a little bit of flour now. It's easier to add flour now than a little bit later on. And sticky sticks to sticky. So if your hands are sticky, it's going to stick anyway. So I'm just going to get all of this off my hands and then just really gently bring it back together. So what we're looking at doing is folding. We're trying to create layers in the dough. So as we're creating our layers, that's strengthening our gluten in our dough. It's important though not to press too hard. So a lot of people think you have to get in there. Pressing too hard will break the gluten structure.
And toughen it.
So right now that's ready. Okay, so now it's your turn, guys. You just need to copy exactly what we did. You can start by getting your fork into your flour, whisk those eggs up a little bit, mix them up, and then start to incorporate the flour. Alrighty, how are we going over here? Good. I'm alive and cooking. I'm alive and cooking.
I've just learned something else from Elena. I said, surely the Italians don't waste a thing. These little crumbly bits that don't go into the pasta. Couscous, she's just told me. This is how you make couscous. I love this place.
All right, you're actually, that's good.
That's
That's
perfect.
fine, yep. Excellent. So wrap that up.
No, that one's there. That one. Oh,
All
no,
right, so
these
if
are
you
good.
want to give your hands a wash, we're going to go over to the next step. We're going to work on our filling for our pasta, and I'm also going to show you how to colour some pasta. Okay, so now we've got our pasta, and we're going to roll out and make some ravioli with that. I just want to show you really quickly. I made some pasta before, exactly the same recipe, but adding some beetroot and some spinach to it. I'm going to show you a technique that we use in our cooking school in Italy. And we're going to make a stripy pasta. And what we need to do is we need to roll the pasta a little bit, and I'm going to lay these one on top of the other. And you can use anything to colour your pasta. So you could use squid ink and it would make black. So what I'm going to do now is cut this like this. I'm just going to push that a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to let that sit just a little bit, because as it sits, it's going to soften and all those layers are going to stick together. And then we're going to cut it and we'll roll it out and we'll get all those individual stripes in our pasta. And that will become the top sheet for our ravioli. Okay, so we're going to make a filling that's traditional of Sardinia. So in Sardinia, they like to use a lot of potatoes. So we're going to, would someone like to rice them for me? Yep. Okay, so they're going into there.
Has to be put through a ricer, this one?
You could mash it with a fork, do whatever you like
Yep.
with it. Doesn't really matter. I like to use a ricer. It gives me more of a creamy texture.
Yep.
Okay, so what we're going to put in here now is a nice big handful of parmigiano.
Freshly grated.
Freshly grated, always freshly grated, always, always. Some fresh chopped mint. This come out of our kitchen garden this morning. And of course, a nice big lug of olive oil. Being a recipe that is really light on the potatoes is a very subtle flavour. So I want the olive oil to be the flavour of the dish. So a nice big lug of olive oil, a really robust oil, preferably something that's a bit grassy and green, not something that's
Can I
too
try a bit of
buttery.
it?
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, Nerida, just get in there, mix all that around for me. Okay, beautiful, that's great. So now we're going to roll some pasta and make some ravioli using our stuffing.
Beautiful.
So now we have our egg pasta, which we're going to use for the bottom, and we're going to use our ravioli for our stripy pasta, for the top. What I want to do when I'm rolling my pasta is make sure that these are the same, okay? So this is my guide. I'm going to roughly press this out at the same height, and I'll cut it in half just so that it's almost the same width as well.
It just means you get it uniform then, doesn't it? It's
Yeah,
easier
it means
to-
I get less wastage,
Yep.
especially with the coloured pasta, because it's so cool. You don't really want to waste too much of it. I'm going to dust my pasta with a bit of semolina, okay? So you can see the semolina is a much larger grind than flour. This is really important because this means that whatever I dust with will fall off when it goes into my pasta water. If I dust with flour, it absorbs and it sticks to the pasta and makes it tacky. All right, so we'll make our bottom one first, setting our pasta machine onto the lowest setting. Never, ever, ever, ever fold your pasta, okay? It's a big, big no-no. No respectable Italian chef would fold their pasta. It's really important because we just spent so much time letting the pasta rest so that all the layers would come back together. And if we fold it now, we create little air pockets inside our pasta. When they cook, they fill up with water and our pasta will break, okay? So for ravioli, we say that the pasta should be thin enough that I can hold it against my watch and tell the time. Or in Bologna, they should be able to tell the time on the square clock. True story.
Yep.
We don't want to stretch our pasta.
So you never pull it?
No. The bit that's on this side, leave it. Don't worry about it. It's more important to get the bit coming out of here because it's stickier. It's tackier as it comes out.
And it will stick on itself.
It
does
will. Okay, so this is our pasta sheet ready. We do the same to this one. I go back to a number 0. going to take a bit of our filling, and with our potato filling, we want quite a bit in there. Underneath, I have the semolina, okay, which won't help my sticking. So when I pick this up, the bit that doesn't have the semolina is going to go on the top, okay? Whoops. So this goes on the top here. I want to make sure that in between each one, I need to give that room to expand, okay? I need to, with my fingers, I want to make sure that all the air comes out of there. If there's any air pockets in here, what happens is they fill up with water, okay? I'm going to take a cutter just to make everything look really neat, and it's just going to seal that filling in. A bigger one on that one. Okay. And there we have it. Okay. Little bonbons, or caramelle.
Caramelle?
Caramelle.
Beautiful.
Nice. Okay, and that's it. That's your ravioli.
The tortelloni is one of those. I saw you look at it twice as you twisted it.
Yes.
You don't always do it. It's
No,
not one of
that's
those,
right.
is it? This is beautiful. It's like the kids are still rolling the pasta, and now we're going to get to see the sauce made. You're telling me, Milona, this is a classic.
This is the go-to. So this is the easiest sauce that you can actually have. It's in my household once a week at least. A good lug of good extra virgin olive oil.
Yep.
Don't be scared to put the oil.
Oh,
if you
I'm
really want to, you can take it out.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
Put the oil. A chopped onion. So we just want to not brown them too much. We just want to start to get a bit of colour on them.
I love the flavour of the really browned onions, but sometimes it can be overwhelming with the tomatoes, can't it?
Yes, that's right. So I find more flavour comes out of the whole tomato. You could use a fresh tomato, peel it back from your garden, that's fine. Keep in mind that tomatoes in the tin have been bottled in season, so they're at their best.
Absolutely.
So that's the way to do it. If you haven't got a good tomato in season, there's no point putting it in your sauce.
No.
From here we can do two things. I can break all of this up, or I can leave it nice and chunky. I like to leave it nice and chunky. For me, that's what we do. I've got the heat up on that, so I'm just going to turn it down. And I want to let it cook for about 15 minutes.
That's all.
That's it, and turn it off. The more it cooks, the richer it will become.
Yeah.
The idea of this sauce is a quick summery sauce. So I really want that flavour of that raw tomato. I don't want it to be too rich. That's what I like to leave for my ragu and my bolognese sauce.
The winter stuff.
Yes, so this is really, really quick.
No seasoning, no herbs.
A little bit of salt.
Yep.
And we'll go in here now. Then we don't use a lot of seasoning and herbs in Italian cooking. It's really strange. The only thing I will put in here is some fresh basil.
Right at the end? Or?
Right at the end. So this is, I mean, my pan is really, really big and widespread. So this is like pretty much almost done. I'm actually going to put the basil in now, shut it off and leave it. That's it. If I want to throw my pasta in here now, if I wanted a sauce that was a little bit more uniform, I could get a stick blender in and blend it all up just to make it look a bit smoother. But for me, I'm from Calabria and we're as rustic as they come. And so this is how I like it. So that's it. That's my quick pasta sauce with my colourful potato ravioli. And I'm Melina Ponariro, and that's a wrap.
I'm alive and cooking. I'm alive and cooking.
Hello everybody, you all snuck in while Milena was away and I've been gardening. How is everyone? Hungry? After making your pasta? Sorry, I'm not talking to a big empty room. Here at Food I Am, I've learned that much stuff from Milena. As a cooking school, this place, job done. So the dish I'm putting together is using the awesome produce that's here. So slide your eye fillet straight into a nice hot pan. If you don't get that beautiful sizzle, your pan is not hot enough. Now, the couscous. Always talked about, really must try and make this one day. Who knew? This is magic, I love it. Just crumbling up a few of those bigger pieces so we've got all the nice little pieces there. Grab yourself a chinois, slide it on in. I'm just going to cook up a couple of handfuls of this. So just sprinkle in the broken up. First time I've ever done this, I'm told this is what you do. Oh my goodness, look at that. I am in awe. It's time to turn your steak. Get it really nice and crusted all the way around. So we need some heat in the pan over here because another part of what I'm doing today from my foraging in the garden is a warm salad. Now this is going to be made from local, and I'm very excited about this, the local hazelnuts. So I am literally just going to dry roast these in the pan. And now this little baby is ready for the oven. Like I said, 235, 240 degrees. I'm going to move on to my cackleberries. I love the name. They're local, free-range eggs. And you can just tell these are made with love. And have a look at this. Look at the colour of that yolk. Look how strong it is. You can poke that. That is a sign of a really fresh, really, really good egg. I'm even going to break my own rules here and not break my eggs into separate bowls because just in case, because I have a 100% confidence that the eggs are absolutely fine. I need some of this unbleached plain flour here, a pinch of salt, touch of pepper. And I'm literally going to mix in just enough flour to make a really, really wet dumpling. So you have to beat these egg yolks to break them. So mix in just enough flour, a little bit on your bench as well. Oh, you know it's a good flour because it's got a beautiful texture to it. Look at the colour, that is madness. I reckon my couscous is about done now. I'm just going to lift it out. That looks perfect. I'm going to set it off to one side. We'll get back to that. Back to your hazelnuts, which I really need to get a little bit more heat under now. Touch of olive. They've had a dry roast, but I need to get some flavour in there now. So, touch of olive oil. Just to shine them up, that's all they need. And as those nuts come up to a little bit of temperature, I'm just going to dribble in a couple of tablespoons of this beautiful local honey. These were just glazing up. I need to slide in my beautiful spring onion, just sliced. So straight in with the spring onions, in with the honey glazed hazelnuts. All we want to do here is soften down. These spring onions are so good, they're almost like leeks. I need some sage to go into my little dumplings. This I need to slice quite fine, so make sure you chop the sage well enough that it's going to distribute right the way through. Give it a good mix, and it's literally time just to drop these babies in. So lots of boiling water again. My hazelnuts and spring onions. What I was waiting for is for the spring onions to soften down in that honey. Now I'm going to slide in the rest of my greens here. What I have is some nice flat leaf parsley. We're going to turn the heat off as well actually because we don't want any more cooking to occur there. Let's pull it off and pop it up the front there. I'm just tearing in the herbs and finishing off with the Discovery that Tanya and I made earlier, this beautiful rocket, which is just going to get stirred through that warm honey and hazelnut mixture. That's it, done. It's almost completely done, apart from the fact that that obviously has to become our warm couscous salad. I love a dish like this. Oh, magic. Now it's done. Grab your meat. That is about rare to medium. What you want to do now is slide in a good glug of a really good red wine. Good couple of glasses. We want to reduce this right down, so give it a chance to thicken right up. And there's your lunch. Warm rocket and couscous salad, sensational local beef, and mad little sage dumplings. If you'd like to find out any more details or even book a class, go to the webpage foodiam.com.au. And if you need somewhere to stay, you can't go past the Mercure at Wagga Wagga. Tanya, Milena, thank you very much. I've had a ball. It's time to try a bit of this couscous, I reckon.
Nasty.
I do hope you've enjoyed today's show, brought to you from Food I Am, just outside of Wagga Wagga. This place is magic. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.